Oh, hi. Good morning, Master
Oh,
Chief.
hi.
Hello. Hi. Hi. So, this comes as a great shock to you, I'm sure, that Peter Strzok obviously has a new book out. Told Morning Joe this morning he could have destroyed Trump's campaign with classified information that the administration is still hiding from the public. He said, absolutely, there are things that are not known that would still be damaging. The decision to release that is up to the administration, as it turns out. Malcolm, the fact that, right, he's a clear and present national security threat. Are you aware of any of this?
Oh, it's funny you should mention that. I don't know, 4 years worth of it. Let me say this about that. First off, Peter Strzok was the head of the counterintelligence division of the FBI. That means he was the chief spy hunter in the United States. So where do you think his mind was when it came to the Russians operating inside the United States, in some instances, communicating, coordinating, and possibly conspiring with the Trump team? But he also would have seen that the Russians would be carrying out this information influence operation to essentially surround Donald Trump with Russian agents of influence to make him dance. Now, what we don't know is the kind of classified things that Peter Strzok would know. Does Donald Trump have a financial tie that means that he is in the pocket of Vladimir Putin?
Can I jump
Well, to
ahead and
be
answer
honest,
yes? Okay, sorry.
oh gosh, you
Sorry.
ruined it for everybody.
I'm sorry, I jumped
Oh
ahead.
wait, no, we've all been watching that for 4 years. So here's my problem. I have been around classified information for going on 3 decades now. Top secret SCI security clearance, special access programs for over 20 years. That's the top secret, top secret, top secrets. Um, if I had seen something that I knew was definitive evidence that a member of the United States government was either an agent of a foreign power, an asset of a foreign power, or under the influence of a foreign power, there is nothing that could stop me from getting that information out. Now, we've got people out there who call Edward Snowden and, Glenn Greenwald all, heroes for whistleblowing on top secret programs that did nothing but hurt the national security of the United States. But you're talking a potential traitor within the United States government? Strzok needs to drop dimes. He needs to go on
Yeah.
Rachel Maddow, and he needs to drop them now,
Yep.
no matter how
Malcolm,
classified
I
they are.
thought the same thing when I was going to ask why I couldn't wait to talk to you about this because I thought, I get him saying that's one thing you don't reveal classified information. I understand the rule, but if this isn't an extraordinary circumstance, I don't know what is. That the person with the nuclear codes is the national security threat seems pretty dire to me. And the fact, I was on vacation, Malcolm, but you got to give me your take on where do you put this at? The weasel Rod Rosenstein, or that Mueller was not even allowed to investigate? Not only, as you and I always talked about for years, where's the counterintelligence thing? There wasn't one. Where's the money trail investigation? Wasn't one. Right? Mueller was not allowed to investigate any of it. I mean, how
I,
could this happen?
I usually toot my own horn, but I will toot someone else's here. Sarah Kendzior
Yeah.
was, the scholar of
Yep.
authoritarians
When
and
you're not when
dictators.
you're not scary enough, we invite Sarah on.
Yeah, well, Sarah, you're right. She's pretty scary. She was the first one to be skeptical of the framework
Yeah.
of the Mueller probe, that the Mueller probe itself was a deliberate framework to take a deliberately cautious guy who would not rock the boat. And then we find afterwards that Rod Rosenstein had coordinated the entire thing. And when Bill Barr came out to put the knife in it, Rosenstein stood by Barr.
Yeah.
And that Rosenstein was worried about his job. The only thing that is going to save us, of course, is the Attorney General Glenn Kirshner
Ah.
coming out and doing a giant, massive criminal investigation of the Trump administration, in which he sends all of these people to prison,
We have
or at
to. We
least
have to.
threatens, identifies the laws, and say, "Hey, you lie again. We're going to have a truth. We're going to have a reconciliation conference here. You lie before us, felony prison. You go to jail until you get it straight." because this is where Barr has gotten over on all of us. He is using the power of the attorney general to hide and cover up all of this.
Yeah,
And
including
like
including rape,
Mitchell,
including up to and including rape, including
now we're hearing
stopping
about
right before we have to give the DNA sample, which means that Barr believes Donald Trump committed rape. I mean, yeah.
I was just on another radio program, and they were saying,
How
"Oh,
dare
this is
you?
going to
How
be."
dare you, sir?
Yeah, well, it's my local station.
Fine.
It only reaches 5 states in Canada.
Okay, go ahead.
So I was just on there, and we were talking about this, and people were saying, "Oh, this is really it's going to kick it down the road, and now Trump has gotten off the hook." No, I recall a few months ago there was a lot of talk about Tara Reid and her accusation against Joe Biden, which of course went poof, and now E. Jean Carroll had filed hers years ago in the 2016 election. Now we're going to have a serious national discussion about rape by the president of the United States. It's an accusation, but now if it was nothing, why did you just use the attorney general to cover it up?
Yeah. Malcolm, we're even past suckers and losers in the military, which I knew you were, of course, on fire about this on Joy Reid's show. You said the only way we can resolve this, as we do in the armed forces, is he must be relieved of his command. The only way to relieve him of his command is in 60 days because he is a dangerous entity. I can't even sort of imagine people like you, not just that have served, but whose whole family has served. The just visceral rage you had to have felt when you read the Atlantic story.
Well, I expressed that on Joy Reid's show last Friday. I went, I get pretty shouty. That was a new level. I think I called him, I essentially called him crazy. Yeah. But the phrase that we need to be putting out there, and I've said it on this show before, is what is wrong with him? And you got to say it that way. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with Trump? To show that there is a malfunction here, which is dangerous. And we in the armed forces, the reason he has such a low approval level in the armed forces, he essentially has the privates backing him up because they're too stupid to know any better. But the decision makers, the senior management, the middle management, that kind of person, Trump's kind of person, is not only obnoxious, he is dangerous to all the other people around them.
I can't believe he just tried to get rid of, he turned on the military story by turning on the military and calling them all warmongers. And first of all, Malcolm, how ridiculous is it? He hasn't gotten us out of any wars. He's stepped up troop involvement in all these places. Everything he says is a lie. He hasn't gotten us out of unnecessary wars or whatever go ahead.
He says he's going to withdraw troops and bring in Iraq and bring them down to 3,000. That war's been pretty much over. Yeah. Except that he's occupying the oil fields in Syria with U.S. Army troops that are not engaged in combat with ISIS or what remnants of ISIS anymore. He is literally sitting U.S. soldiers in Syria on oil fields that don't produce, that are so small no one would use them except the government of Russia and Syria and ISIS.
Because he said that part out loud too. Take the oil. I always said take the oil. He blurts out war crimes. He blurts out. I mean, do you think it's the Onion when you're like, oh, the Bin Laden family endorsed Trump?
Oh my God.
Because of course they did. You said of course Bin Laden loves Trump, but she's far too late. Through incompetence with COVID-19, Trump has single-handedly caused the equivalent of 67 9/11s. But I don't. Okay.
This is not a joke. Okay, people, it is not the Onion. This happened. Osama bin Laden's niece, who lives in exile in Switzerland, all right, has gone full-on pro-Trumper and full-on QAnon. QAnon. Okay? And the next thing you know, I expect to see videos from ISIS hailing QAnon. Donald Trump to them, I'm surprised they're not putting out videos of Donald Trump, great jihadi leader, because he has killed through incompetence more people than literally 67 9/11s. And the number is rising every day. We're at 192,000 today.
Yeah.
But this crazy bin Laden family endorsed him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Endorsed Donald
Malcolm,
Trump.
You had the best joke about the Trump boat sinking at the Trump boat parade. You said the miracle at Dunkirk. All right.
No,
as a Navy guy,
my,
that was particularly funny as a Navy guy, wasn't it?
my best joke was the video of Trump's uh, billboard sign being blown over by the wind.
Yes, that was
Did you see that
also
one?
enjoyable. I hope it's a
Yeah.
sign, Malcolm. Let me ask you real quick before we go, because this is, I ask almost every guest because this is my listeners' main concern. Are we going and everyone's concern? Are we going to have a free and fair election? I mean, we don't just have Russia this time. We have actively trying to destroy the postal service. We have God knows what kind of voter suppression and John Durham October surprise and who knows what. Are you confident we're going to have a free and fair election? What can Russia do? What do you think they're planning? It's got to be worse than last time, right?
It's not going to be Russia. It's going to be the Trump administration will be taking the lead and Russia will magnify it. That's what we're seeing this time.
Well, that's what they're doing already with vote by mail, right? Russia is amplifying exactly what Trump is saying. You can't trust vote by mail. Yeah.
We saw this in 2018 that they had shifted from the bot and attacks to actual physical trolls. Those trolls got taken over by Trump's data team. The data team has now been taken over by Trump cyber vigilantes. By the way, huge number of them are QAnon people. They call themselves Mike Flynn's Cyber Army.
Right.
But for the most part, I suspect what we're going to see in the October surprise is what a rumor that I heard 2 years ago, almost 3 years ago, was that Trump was going to indict Barack Obama and others in the administration and was going to charge them for treason. Mark my words. Number one, they can do it all day long. This won't work. Trump only has his base. And right now, everything is about exciting his base. Every person that is listening to this program, your job is to save the United States. That's what's at stake here. When you vote early, you do absentee, don't just do it for yourself. Mom, dad, sisters, brothers, any person above the age of 18, you assist them to go out and vote now or go out and vote early. And then if you're really saving it for election day, drive everybody around on election day with the windows down, mask on, and bottles of Purell. Because that's what I'm going to do. I can't decide whether I'm going to Pennsylvania or Ohio, but I'm going somewhere, and all I'm going to do is take people out to vote.
Yep. Once again, serving his country. Macolm Nance. All right. Great stuff as always, honey. Talk to you soon from your big man chair.
Bye.